Okay, here's part 3 of the tiny teddy, and we only have a few placement lines to do and put the objects in the right stitch order, and then I'll talk about how to sew it out. So first of all, we have the vertical placement lines, top and bottom, and these are for when you put the back fabric on. You will stitch 2 pieces of fabric together with a gap in the middle, which will run down through here, so you can turn the teddy, and you will line that seam line up with these placement lines. So we're going to just digitize those with a single outline, and we can use the same color as the teddy, so that's fine. So we're going to get an open object, and single outline is automatically chosen, and the color is still on the same color as the rest of the teddy. So we're going to zoom in, and we're just going to get we've got our open object, so we can just left click here at the top of that line, hold our control key down so we get a vertical line, and left click and enter. Now, just in case you get slightly out of alignment with the bottom line, it's easier to mirror merge that vertical line so that it will be exactly in line with the top one. The bottom one will be exactly in line with the bottom one. Let's just zoom to fit so that we've got that there. I'm just going to select that object, so you can select it here on the screen, get your select tool, and it will automatically select because it's the last thing that was digitized. And we're going to go to the mirror merge toolbox and mirror merge vertical, and then you'll see that you have a line. As you move down the screen, that line will go down, and just get it down to the bottom and left click, and now you have some stitching down the bottom here, your other placement line. Okay, now the other placement line is here at the top of the head, and this is for your loop. So if you're not going to put a little loop on the top and just use this as a toy, you don't need to do this part, but you can put it in, and then you can, when you stitch it out, you can just jog past it so you don't stitch it. But if you, and then you've got the option of putting the loop or not, or you can leave it out altogether if you never intend to put a loop, but the little loop is very handy. So same thing again, digitize, open object, single run, and we're just going to left click, hold our control key down so we get it horizontal, and left click on the other side and enter. Okay, now we've done a placement line for the loop, but we need to tack the loop down before we stitch the outline. So we need to duplicate that line, and we also need to make it a different color so that it stops, the machine stops in to allow you to place the loop, and then you can start the machine again. You don't need to change your thread in the machine to do that. You just need to have a color stop so that the machine stops. So we will select that. It's automatically selected because it was the last thing digitized. We'll right click on it, and we'll come down to duplicate, or you can go Control D. And now there's a second one on top. If I go to the color film and go all the way down to the bottom, we have got 2. The second one is selected, so I'm going to choose another color. Now I can only see color 57 here because that's the color that that's the only color in that design. So I need to add another color. So I'm just going to click on the plus here, and all my other colors will come back, and I can just choose any color I like. If you want to choose one of the colors from the previous page, you will need to use your up arrow. Now you may already see these colors because you may not have closed your software, and the reason mine only showed one color is because I've closed the software and then reopened the design. Okay, I'm just going to choose the hot pink for now, so now you can see the second one is hot pink. Okay, that's all there is for the digitizing, but we have in the color film the outline stitching first. So we need to move that to the bottom of the colour film so that it stitches last. So we're going to left click on it to select it, and we have a move to end symbol here with a down arrow and a line underneath it. So we just left click on that. So that will also give you a colour change because that is the colour 57. So after you've placed your loop and tacked it down, the machine will stop because there's another colour change here. Then you can place your backing fabric and then stitch your outline. Okay, now I've got some photographs to show you of the construction of the teddy. So I'll just open my File Explorer and start with the first one. Okay, so here we are. We have stitched the two pieces for the backing fabric together, and you need to do this before, if you've only got one sewing machine, you need to do this before you set up your embroidery. So just leaving that gap there, the 4-inch gap. Oh, there's another picture of it with the 4-inch gap, and then you need to press that. Oh goodness, I took lots of pictures. You need to press that seam flat open, and the gap is in here. Okay, then hoop up your front fabric with your stabilizer underneath. I just use tearaway. Stitch out your design up until the place, well, the first colour will stitch, so it will stitch the two placement lines, top and bottom, the face and the tummy stitching or whatever you've put on the tummy, and the first placement line for the loop. Then you'll place your loop. I just used 1/4-inch elastic or 6mm elastic. Didn't quite get it straight, but it turned out okay when I put the backing on. So you can see the placement line here, and you can just see it up here for the backing fabric. Okay. Now, I've put the backing fabric down and I've lined that seam up, but my fabric, well, I probably didn't have my iron hot enough, to be honest, didn't press flat enough, and I was worried about this foot catching on that seam. It goes across that seam several times. So I just taped it down with masking tape, we call it here, painter's tape, or washi tape will work if it sticks enough to your fabric. Just anything that will hold that down, and you can stitch over it and then peel it off later. And that way you won't have any seam allowances getting caught with the foot. And then I stitched the outline, and I forgot to take some photos of the rest, but I removed it from the hoop, removed all the tape, turned it through the gap at the back, and then ladder stitched the gap at the back. Oh, stuffed it of course, and then ladder stitched the back down that back centre seam. With the legs, if you hold your teddy like I am here and push that bottom leg forward, you can also do a ladder stitch up here, and that will give you the the next one. I haven't got that photo in here, but that, you've seen it at the beginning of the first video. That will give you that look of the feet coming a little bit forward. You don't need to do it to the front arms, but the back legs. It just makes it a little bit more interesting if you do that, but it's optional, otherwise they'll stick straight out. Okay, now all these photos with written instructions come with, I'll just go, oh, that's what the other photo is. When you get it out of the hoop, you will trim around, leaving a 1/4-inch seam allowance, and you can just trim into these corners here, at the neck, trim from here, the 1/4-inch, as far as you can go without cutting the neck. And then you'll be able to turn him, and he'll be alright because those seam allowances all get mixed in with the stuffing. Okay, I'll close that. Let me just see if I can find the image of the teddy bear. But as I was saying, the pattern, which is this, so I'll open that, you will get this, all those photos of how to construct the teddy bear with written instructions, plus written instructions on how to digitize the teddy to go along with this video. All of those available on my PayHip store as one product for just $2 Australian, so you can go and get that, so you can get started and make your teddy. So I hope you've enjoyed this little course, and I've got lots more exciting things coming up for you. Thank you.